All right, Larry Nichols is our guest for the next 30, 40 minutes or so. Then I'm going to get into economic news, military news, election 2016 news, and so much more. This whole transsexual movement is actually a cover for a pedophile takeover. And I want to be clear, I don't think people that are confused and think they're a man or a woman are bad people. I'm not saying they're even the pedophile movement, okay? Because some people say that none of this ever happens naturally because of chemicals in the water, things that are going on. This does happen even to other mammal species, fish, amphibians, you name it. But it's more than that. In most cases, it's people confusing children about their sexuality when they're young, and it's an excuse to sexualize children, and that's what's going on with Salon promoting pedophilia, with major newspapers like the Charlotte Observer saying girls must overcome discomfort at seeing male genitals in the locker room, as they now announce from the 6th grade up, all over the country this is happening in different areas, boys and girls taking showers in the locker room together. Folks, this is a total assault. There's another story up on Infowars.com. Tranny Michelle Obama lookalike causes confusion in public restroom. Isn't that an oxymoron to say a tranny Michelle Obama lookalike? Isn't that one and the same? Michael Obama? That's what Obama says over and over again. And I love trolling the mainstream media every time I say that. They pick it up all over the news. Tranny Michelle Obama lookalike thrown out of women's restroom. Incident sparks bathroom debate and discussion over Michelle Obama. That's up on Infowars.com by Kid Daniels. We've got a report on DrudgeReport.com that I'm going to play clips of after our guest leaves us at about 40 after. Angry mob surrounds Trump supporter. It's much worse than that. It's a strong headline, but it's even crazier. Bernie and Hillary backers surrounded a Trump supporter in Lawrenceville, New Jersey, and demonstrated just how little they know about the world. Vile protesters threatened Trump supporters. We can't play a lot of it. There's so much cussing. And it just illustrates the type of garbage we're really dealing with here and how anti-free speech they are. Great job to our crew, Josh Owens and Michael Zimmerman, out there braving the AIDS Skrillex of the world. Now, we also have the Pope coming out in more articles and speeches saying Christianity has bad roots in Europe, shouldn't say that. ISIS is just like Jesus. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. We're going to be getting into that as well. But I want to cover election 2016 news right now with former Green Beret, a lot of clandestine operations around the world. That's how he ended up getting hooked up with the Clintons and their operations for the CIA there in Arkansas. And he was their handler to help get him into office. And for many years, as they were co-governor and governess. And I'm just recapping his own testimony here. And he's the guy that was behind the Clinton Chronicles and the rape information. And Paula Jones. I mean, there's two people you can say that have been on the Clintons more than anybody. And that would be Matt Drudge and Larry Nichols. There have been a lot of other folks as well. But you could say Chris Ruddy in the early days. But it's certainly Matt Drudge. And it's important to know the history here. And, of course, Larry Nichols. Larry would not be involved in, in the killing of neighborhood kids and things that saw the drugs being shipped in, things like that. So he hit his knees, repented, and now for, I don't know, 25 years, 24 years, has been after the Clintons. And Bill has even told the New York Times, he's one guy he's scared of is Larry Nichols. He has predicted how they'd steal the election from Bernie, or try to. He has predicted that they would, so far not indict Hillary. They're even talking about now, well, if it's classified, how do we indict her and release the emails? So we're going to talk about his latest intel, where he sees all of this going. And the good news here, Trump destroys Hillary in under 3 weeks, now leading in 2 national polls and more. That's on Infowars.com, an information liberation article. Those are big scientific polls. We'll talk about the provenance of those polls in a moment. But he's taking the gloves off, and the Clintons aren't used to this. They say, oh, my gosh, Donald Trump asked good-looking women out at cocktail parties when he's not married. And he told one girlfriend, lose some weight for that bathing suit. Turned out she never said that. So, hey, baby, you're getting a little fat there. That's his crime versus settling rape cases. So we're going to get to the bottom of this right now and tell you what's coming next with Larry Nichols. And Larry is on oxygen. He does have lung cancer. He doesn't like to talk about it. And he is the latter stage and is battling for his life just to stay alive to fight the globalists. He lost basically everything he had after he went up against the Clintons. He could have gone to Washington with them the whole 9 yards. So please keep him in your prayers. And we'll also give out a PayPal at the end of the interview for folks that want to try to get him more of the therapy he needs. And he said it before. If we wouldn't have gotten him the help, you wouldn't have gotten him the help, he'd already be gone. He'd like to talk about what he's been through, but this guy has been resuscitated. You name it. He is a tough patriot. And he's in his final real mission for the Republic right now. In fact, Larry Nichols, we ought to have you on sometime just about your experience in the Special Forces back when they were really special. They're still amazing and see even more combat on average than what you guys saw. But you were actually in Africa and I guess in Latin America and all over, a lot of clandestine stuff before you got recruited over into the CIA's Dixie Mafia operation. But, man, I tell you, am I right in saying you're really fighting for the Republic now more than ever? Isn't this, the last 25 years, your real mission, sir?
You know, Alex, this has been, and I'm sorry about the noise. I normally don't like to have the oxygen on when I do the interview, but
it's
I've
okay.
got to this time.
It's okay, brother. There's no noise.
This has been, of all the places I've been, of all of the combat action I've been in, there's been nothing tougher than fighting the Clintons politically, fighting the establishment politically, because remember, Alex, you and I were fighting the establishment before it was cool. People didn't believe us, that it was all rigged. Well, now they see what we've been talking about. Let's just pray that it's not too late. That's all we can do.
Well, brother, you got the floor here. Let's. I throw out a lot of topics. You want to jump into one of those, or what's most important on your screen?
Oh, my God. I heard the commercial coming on where you were talking about, getting prepared. Let me just throw this in right now. As you know, Alex, there are things I know about that I can't talk about because of contracts and such. But, folks, you better get ready. Now, Alex, I don't know what you sell, but I hope the hell you sell stuff people need to have at least on hand, a month minimum, 2 to 6 months, preferably, because this thing's fixing to go down. It's going to go down hard. Just for example, Saudi Arabia, they started paying their contractors with IOUs. Saudi Arabia's banks got their ratings dropped by Moody's. Do you know why? Connected to the same problem that one of our 5 major banks has that's going to start the cascading in this country. They were so heavily leveraged in American treasuries that it caused their ratings to go down. So I'm telling you guys, it's happening out there. We're the only people in the world that do not know, Alex, the seriousness.
That's right. The global default has already begun. We're putting articles on screen. You're right. It all started 6 months ago with the Royal Bank of Scotland saying sell everything, or 5 months ago. That's why the elite just don't seem to care and are so arrogant now.
That's right. So I'm just saying, just to start the program off, folks, do your family and yourselves a favor. Get supplies, water, food, iodine. I mean,
firearms.
These are the
firearms people need. If you don't have firearms, folks, go get a shotgun, a revolver, go take lessons at the local gun range, learn how to use them. Guns are so easy to use, folks, and you need to learn how to use them.
And just remember this, because I've tried to always tell you all the truth in advance. This thing, when it happens, this country will go primal. Primal. And you better be ready. Dear God, you better be ready. Now, on the election front, they're not going to indict Hillary. You know that now. No way. And the thing people don't realize, you see all of this stuff, folks, about Obama's negative ratings, Hillary's negative ratings. Let me tell you the Clinton campaign, and I know because I designed it. The Clintons are not going to try to make you like her. Do you understand that, folks? The Clintons are not going to try to convince America to like Hillary. That's not going to happen. What they're going to do is they're going to take 60 to 70% of their money, and they're going to use it to make you hate Trump. That's how it will go. Now, that's assuming, of course, 6 days before the convention, Trump still gets the nomination. So I'm just telling you, the Clintons are going to be the damnedest thing. I'm sorry to say that. It's going to be the most. You think Trump's been through it tough. He has no idea what he's fixing to go through when he gets in the general campaign against Hillary. They are going to take him off at the knees, and they've got a willing mainstream media and just about everybody else to help them do it. Now, this is where I come in, Alex. My job with the stuff that I've had all of these years that you know I've had, I'm not going to tell anybody. If they're not going to indict Hillary, somebody out there surely figured this out. If they're not going to indict Hillary over the email scandal and servers and all of that, then why on earth would you think with the things I have that they would be indicting her? They're not. That's not what I'm out to do. What I will do, and I'm trained to do this, and I train them to do this, I will make sure that the majority of the money that they plan to spend to destroy Donald Trump, they're going to have to spend it, Alex, fighting the things I bring out. Now, how am I going to do it when the mainstream's not going to touch it? Well, I guess, buddy, you know how I'm going to do it. I'll be looking at you. I'll be looking at the audience. We're going to have to spread the word. We're going to have to do.
Well, we've done it with Roger Stone also on their attack on women, because we knew they'd come after Trump with that, and that's been somewhat effective. I mean, the mainstream media, though, is so discredited now. I agree. They're ganging up on Trump. They've been caught, but that tends to backfire on them. They're not as strong as they once were, Larry.
They're not as strong as they once were, but you still have to realize if you take all of them, I watch this closely every day, nearly. If you take all of the if you take all of the 24-hour news networks and you add up their listenership, it comes out to about 3, maybe certain hours of a day, maybe 4 million tops audience. But you take the worst TV network during prime time, the worst, ABC, NBC, CBS, the worst one will have 11 million watching some hokey program. Right. Now, folks, I'm telling you, we've got a job to do. We've got a serious job to do. But I'll tell a little quick story. When I was in Nicaragua, I was always amazed. You know, I would get stuff directly from the Intelligence Committee in Washington. I'd get on a plane. I would drop off out of a plane into Nicaragua. I'd hit the ground. I'd walk miles through the jungle. And when I would get to the camps or to the campesinos, they already knew what I was going to tell them. They already knew. Now, they didn't have radios. They didn't have telephones. They didn't have any of the modern day communications devices. The closest I could ever figure out is they just knocked on cocoa trees until they passed the word around. But that made me know something that we're going to have to use today. We are going to have to pass the word around.
Person to person.
We're going to have to. Sir?
Person to person.
You bet.
That's why I tell the audience, they are the power. Don't thank me. You're the reason InfoWars is having a huge effect. You're the reason. You are the heart, that's folks. Exactly you're the mind, the guts, the bones, the fist. I mean, you're it. Please don't thank me, and please don't ask me to go try to do more. I'm doing everything I can to the point of insanity. Just please realize that you got to get the word out now. You got to tell 100 people a day about the stations we're on. You got to put a billboard up. You've got to call into C-SPAN. You've got to start your own show. You got to file a lawsuit. You got to donate money. You got to go to the city council meeting and just talk about these topics and get a buzz going so big. Because here's the deal. You know your numbers, Larry. Mainstream cable news TV, if you don't count Fox, their average show's about 1.5 million. The others together is only about 300, 400, 500,000. They are a joke. So you're exactly right. Maximum, the average show, 3 million. All cable news together in the United States, okay? A couple 100,000 more with Canada. But no one then actually goes out and gets real info. Even though they don't watch it, that kind of becomes word of mouth, what people heard. And the real power the media still has is as a talking point, the old media, to put out a talking point that people don't know where it came from. They just heard it. We have to take the InfoWars info, the Drudge info, the World Net Daily info, the Daily Caller info, and other good sites that tell the truth. And we've got to, or your own intel you get, put it out, speak about it, take action, and then word of mouth it. That's the key to the info war. So what do we word of mouth right now, talking to General Nichols?
Well, the first thing you need to talk about is what Hillary's going to do. Hillary's going to get in an aggressive campaign to discredit Trump. And Alex, I'll add to what you said. Folks, when you start this word of mouth campaign, there's two things you better remember, two rules. Number one, know your source. Don't be afraid to say, I heard it on InfoWars, Alex Jones.
Yeah,
Don't
be proud. The key is be confident. The key is be confident. Right. We're in a war, a death battle, folks. Get confident.
That's right. They're going to come at you and they're going to say, oh, you know, they've heard that Drudge or Jones or WorldNet, they're nutbags. That's what they've heard. You stomp on
You say
that.
you owe it to yourself to go see the truth. Don't let the mainstream media, you know they lie. Go find out for yourself. America's in trouble. Let's wake up and come in together.
Make them come and, hey, just tell them this. Look, I'll tell you what. I might be lying. Just do this. Go to InfoWars, watch Alex Jones for a week, and then come back and tell me. Second thing, what you pass on, you make sure that it is sourced and that it is true. Don't go taking something you heard from Joe Blow on the street.
That's why they put out disinfo sites on purpose to say wild stuff so that we get discredited.
You have no idea the disinformation machine we had with Bill Clinton in Arkansas back when I was there, and it's worse today. Watch these emails that you get from other people and go passing it around as though it were true. Source it out. If you're going to get somebody to join us in this battle, you make sure what you tell them is true. And you do those two things, and folks, I guarantee we're going to bring people in. The next thing you need to tell people what's coming. See, that's paramount. Tell people what is coming ahead of time, but be smart. Don't go telling them the crazy stuff that you hear about the sky's going to fall on the 17th of May or whatever. Tell the stuff that's coming. Look, read the signs. You know, Alex, learn to read the signs. There is something wrong when Saudi Arabia, right? When Saudi Arabia starts having to pay IOUs for their contractors, Saudi Arabia's got oil out the kazoo. What happened? You know what happened to Saudi Arabia, folks? Iran. See, the part of the Iran deal that people are now finding out was all a lie, that big deal that they made, part of the Iran deal was Obama would facilitate allowing Iran to dump their oil at $25 a barrel or less when Saudi Arabia and OPEC was getting $40 to $45 a barrel. And now you've got ships. I got tickled about this. I guess tickle's not the word. You've got oil ships, freighters stuck out in the Mediterranean.
Just sitting there.
Just sitting there. Now, guess what? Goldman Sachs earlier this week, Alex, put out a press release saying the oil glut's over. No, it's not, guys. No, it's not. Goldman Sachs is part of the machine. They're part of the system. And when they put stuff like that out, you'll be amazed at how many people fall back to sleep and they think, well, guess what? It's over. No, it's not. And then on the Hillary front, oh, Lord. You've got the Juanita Broaddrick stuff that's starting to resurface. That's going to come out. Let me tell you some stories that you need to know about Hillary. When Bill was president and when he was running for president, now this is coming out, by the way, Alex, and I hate to say it, but who I can use, National Enquirer, in the next week or so. There's going to be another article come out by me or about me, and I talk about two things. Number one, Hillary going, when Bill was governor, about every month to 6 weeks, Hillary would go out to L.A. and she would go to a church for witches. Witches.
By the way, Tex Mars, I remember, actually had copies of the local paper, her at the witchcraft ceremonies. So
she
this is documented.
She did go. It's not a joke. Now, the other thing, when Bill was running for president and when he was president, they were fighting me, because I was the one with, quote unquote, the bimbos. I was the one that brought out the women. Nobody else did. Hillary headed up personally what was called the bimbo eruption. It was Hillary. She was in charge of putting down, smearing any woman that I dared to bring out. She was the hammer. So Hillary was the facilitator. She wasn't the victim. She wasn't the one that, oh my God, when Bill told me about Monica Lewinsky, I just cried and thought, my God, she knew about all of it.
So to be clear, the National Enquirer, with you as a source, you're the original confirmed source, you're exposing her witchcraft behavior at her coven in Los Angeles, and it's coming out about the bimbo eruptions.
That's right.
Well, look, the Enquirer, people confuse it with News of the World, with, you know, Bat Boy. The Enquirer does tabloid stuff and gossip, but it's incredibly accurate compared to mainstream media.
It is. And I have found them, to be honest, more truthful in covering me and actually getting the story straight that I tell than anybody else in the printed media, to be honest, other than like Matt. But that's coming out. Use that. Use that. That's not some crazy story. And it will be significant because Hillary, her big thing that Trump's going to attack her with is she did know what Bill Clinton was doing.
And she was the one that honchoed the cover-up. Stay there. Larry Nichols, straight ahead, a lot more. Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central, we're here. Back Sundays, and I'll be in studio this Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. Central. Larry Nichols is our guest. I got some Trump clips I want to play while he's here with us, and then more Trump clips after he goes. Briefly, our all-time best-selling shirt now is the 2 different variants, limited editions, of Hillary for Prison. I put one out. It was very popular. It ended. People started copying it. Folks wanted it back, so we tweaked it a little bit, but it's basically the same shirt. We followed the letter of the law, because I always do what I say I'm going to do, and brought back this limited edition shirt with a tweak. On the back, Infowars.com is in red instead of white, and it says legalize freedom. And on the front, it says Hillary for Prison 2016, and then under it, till the end of time. So that's the difference in the shirt. It's very, very popular. We got a big shipment in of them just a few days ago. And we are offering 50% off. They're printed right here in the United States. 50% off. But you've got to go to Infowars.com/newsletter. Infowars.com/newsletter. And there's also a site on the front page of Infowars. Just put your email in. We will send you the promo code at checkout to get 50% off the Hillary for Prison shirt. Now, maybe you already have one. You want a Molon Labe. It's in English. It's the Come and Take It Texas version. That shirt is 50% off as well. That runs through Sunday with the promo code that we're going to give you when you sign up for the newsletter. And listen, I never did this smart. I've been on air 21 years. I was smart about trying to get the word out, but not foreseeing censorship. With all the Facebook and Twitter censorship and the rest of it, the tech experts say, listen, new tech is old tech. You want to have contact with all your hardcore patriots. So even if they shut down InfoWars or Prison Planet for a time during, you know, internet control or kill switches, email will be next to near impossible to shut down unless they turn the electricity off. And we are super lacking. I never promoted Twitter. I never promoted Instagram. So, you know, we've got like 4 or 5 million people on Facebook that follow our different channels. And we've got tens of millions that tune in every day on different platforms and millions of subscribers on YouTube. But when it comes to a few areas, we are basically in the negative. We are not doing good. We're flat-footed. We need to be able to stay in contact with you. Create a new email that's just for us to communicate. I don't care. Your old email, whatever. Go to Infowars.com/newsletter. Put in that email. We send you exclusive articles, videos, promo codes, coupons for the shopping cart at the store. We do use it for marketing and funding our operation. But the flip side of that is staying in contact with you. Infowars.com/newsletter. We don't share your email with anybody. It is essential we be able to stay in contact with all the patriots out there. We'll send you the promo code to get 50% off on one or more of these shirts. We almost lose money on that deal, but it's so exciting at the Trump rallies and everywhere to see every 10th person wearing a Hillary for Prison shirt or a Molon Labe shirt or a Come and Take It shirt. So take advantage of that today. Infowars.com/newsletter. Finally, we have the vitamin mineral fusion that took us 2 years to develop with one of the top nutraceutical producers in the country. It's a game changer, totally natural, healthy, organic, plant-derived, full-spectrum minerals, amino acids, vitamins, and more. And it's got a lot of fancy stuff in it. Just go to the site, read about it. It's got a lot of amazing things in it. It's got the proper organic form of vitamin B12, methylcobalamin. It's got other things in it as well, like coenzyme Q10. There's too much to list here. It is the best multivitamin mineral out there to absorb into your body. That way you drink it with the saliva in your mouth. It actually gets broken down. You actually get it into your bloodstream. It's so amazing. If you want to boost that even more, vitamin B12, Secret 12, under the tongue, at InfoWarsLife.com. Especially for older folks and people. There's such a vitamin B12 absorption problem in the gut. And then lastly, we're running this special as long as we can, hopefully in the next week, but it is very popular. X2, the good halogen, nascent iodine, 20% off, InfoWarsLife.com, or call toll-free 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139. It's got 4.8 stars out of, 1,313 reviews on Power Reviews, a third-party site. I mean, it is the ultimate true pure iodine that doesn't burn your stomach and the rest of it. But still, consult a physician, because if you already got thyroid problems and you're too far gone or whatever, just consult your physician. Consult your physician before you breathe oxygen either. I mean, I could say before you take a walk in the park. The point is that look into it for yourself and be sure and read the insert there. But it is all generally seen as safe and good. And you die without iodine. The problem is there's just hardly any of it that's pure out there, and it's got problems. With folks that have never really had it. You're so full of the bad ones in your thyroid and other glands that when it hits sometimes and things happen, you can have some toxic effects, you name it. I mean, the road from hell back to heaven is not an easy one, is it? Okay, back to Larry Nichols. Larry, I want to play some clips here of Trump. I want to talk about other big things that are coming. But no, I agree with you. It's uncanny. I see elites running to New Zealand, armored redoubts, stock markets plunging around the world, big companies defaulting, and Saudi Arabia having to borrow $10 billion a week to pay payrolls. They were supposedly the richest country in the world. Millions of refugees pouring in, sleeper cells, the elites weaponizing media, just all sorts of craziness. What is the real state of the world from your D.C. sources? I have some of the same sources, but I mean, I think we've had a point where the elite themselves are now forgetting about control. They're putting up a facade of control while they steal as much as they can, as fast as they can. Is that an accurate statement?
That's absolutely accurate. Alex, guys, you'll notice that I've spent the majority of this program not talking about Hillary. Hillary will come. That will come. But what is impending right now, what's coming right now, we are, well, I've always done this. See that distance right there between my thumb and forefinger? That's how close we are to this baby collapse. You better be ready. And you better...
By the way, I've been interviewing you for 21 years. You're one of the first interviews I ever did on radio, Larry. And I've never heard you say collapse. I mean, you never got into economic stuff. I mean, what's going on?
Well, if you know what I unfortunately, maybe fortunately know, you'll see exactly what's coming. And that's why I tell people, Alex, tell you or ask you to tell your audience, read the signs. These things going on around the world. Remember, we're usually the last ones to know. But it's coming, and it's coming hard, and it's coming fast. I'll tell you one other thing. Folks, you're not getting anything on your money in the bank. We're in the middle, Alex. Even people in Washington, a couple of senators I know well that you know, have even told me, Nichols, you were right. We are in the beginning of the end of the soft coup. A silent coup, soft coup. That means our government's fixing to change. They're afraid it's fixing to change. Now, here's what happens when a country starts to change. First thing is you've got in the banking area, you've got nationalization. Guys, I've been in 4 countries. 2 of which I was a part of the thing that helped make them go into the coup. But I'm in 4 countries, and in each country, 3 things happened. First was the nationalization of the banks. That's going to come when the nasty secret from the major bank comes out. Now, I think if you look at Puerto Rico, Imagine this, Alex. What if one of the 5 major banks in this nation held a disproportionate share of the 107 million, which is just the payment they defaulted on, of Puerto Rico's debt, and they belly up? Now think about that. So what happens when it gets that critical? The country, the government comes in and nationalizes the banks. You say, well, that can't happen. I'm sorry, didn't they just do that with health care? Our 5th largest thing in the country, they did it there. They come in, they nationalize the bank. Second thing is negative interest. Now, I hear people all the time saying, well, boy, I hope we get negative interest. My house payment will go down. No, negative interest does not mean your house payment's going to go down. Negative interest is a political term for once the banks are taken over by the government.
They're going to charge you to keep money in your bank and do bail-ins.
You got it.
And the bankers are going to give all themselves the stimulus money. It's just, it's absolute robbery.
The third thing is repatriation, Alex. Repatriation. That's when they take your money. That's when you go to the bank, as Brazil, as Greece, as Portugal, as several countries have done. You go to the bank to get your money out, and they say, I'm sorry, we just can't do it. You know, in Greece, they allow you today, still today, you can only take $37 a week out. I don't care if you got $1 million in. Those things are coming. So let me ask you this, Alex. I don't know. What do people make putting their money in a bank now? I mean, 1% maybe, or whatever, interest. I would get my money and get it to where I can see it, where I can hold it, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to have cash. And by the way, if you don't think, you better get the foods and supplies today for the day this happens. Has anybody been around, like in Arkansas? Maybe Texas is the same way, Alex, when a snowstorm's coming? You know, you hear on the news and weather, a storm's coming. Go to the grocery store a little bit late, and you go to the aisles, and the aisles are stripped bare of bread and milk and such. Well, think about this. When this happens, it'll be amazing how fast the grocery store shelves will empty. So I suggest that you listen to me real tight. And you better understand, I don't bluff and I don't kid, especially about something like this. You better get the supplies you need. Now, I don't know if you sell them, Alex, or somebody else does. That's somebody else's business other than mine. But you better get them.
No, I hear you. I hear you. Well, Larry, you're about to leave us. I want to get you back up in the next few weeks. Overall, we've been praying for you. You look pretty good overall. I know you've been through a lot. I'm going to put up on screen for folks. You don't even ask for this, but if people want to try to support you so you can keep getting the medical attention you need, the last 20-something years you've given up everything you had. You were very successful to expose these people. I talked to the Clinton Chronicles folks. You didn't even ask for money to be in those films that sold millions of copies. Wish you would have. You wouldn't be in this position. Yeah. But Nichols Live at AOL.com. Nichols Live at AOL.com. And we try to help Larry out a little bit, too. We went up there and interviewed him. Helped him a little bit with his chemo and stuff. But Nichols Live at AOL.com. Or you can write to him at 58 Kingsington Drive, Conway, Arkansas, 72034. And also pray for him as well. Nichols Live at AOL.com.
And Alex, I got to say one thing in closing. What you're talking about, people getting in with the emails to you, that is phenomenally critical. They have got to sign up and get on the email list. And I'm not doing this to promote Alex. I'm telling you, we've got to have a way to get direct communication.
That's right. Even when they shut most of the web off, which they admit, remember they would deny Obama's internet kill switch, and then they said, no, it's real. We put it in 5 years ago. The email, though, is so digital, it'll still be able to be sent basically over phones and things, so we can then get that list if we have it, and still, hopefully, through some other systems, we have some stuff set up in Europe, some stuff set up in Latin America, to let everybody know. We're still going to be able to try to email you. So we're actually getting ready, folks. I'm getting storable food and things built up here at the office and medical supplies and things because the elite are doing it. Larry Nichols, God bless you. We'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Thank you, buddy. See you. See you all.
Thank you, sir. Look, I want to explain something here. I was on air in 1995. I was on radio by 1996, syndicated by 1997. And I missed the boat. I thought Y2K was a total fraud. And you go back to my earlier shows, You hear that. The Navy said 40 states would collapse. The government put the reports out. Congress did. And I said, this is an excuse to have billions to these tech companies to replace all the chips and telecommunications so that the NSA can spy on people. That's what NSA insiders told me, like Wayne Madsen and others. But then as the hype built up the few months before it, I took sponsors. I got ready. I started to believe it because everybody was saying it was an absolute. It had to happen. And then my gut was right. It was a fraud. I mean, there was some problems and things, and there was some issues in computers, but you just reboot them. But it was an excuse to get all this updated tech in, this smart grid of control. It was part of that. It was an NSA takeover worldwide to get the new tech in place because a lot of stuff wasn't compatible. It was an upgrade, covered in hysteria. And by the end, just under the hype and peer pressure, and I was a lot younger then, I bought into it. And it was a fraud. I don't want to think this collapse is real. I don't want to believe it's happening. I'm in the middle of it too. But there is defaults happening all over the world. There's pension funds being grabbed. They're grabbing people's bank accounts in Europe. The same globalists run that. They're making preparations here. They're trying to pass laws in Congress saying that. They have passed laws to grab your pension funds. And so we've gone from this being a possibility to a probability. Now, I don't know how bad the crash is going to be, but it's already started around the world. So absolutely, do I try to then sell storable food and water filters and things because I'm already doing that myself to be prepared? That's what normal folks do. It's what Boy Scouts do. Not trying to fund us off doing what I believe in? Absolutely. So there's no guilt there. You know, the media will spin it and go, look at you selling water filters and food while the elite are all storing food and you know, drinking filtered water because they know the water's already so poisonous. I say filtered water because of what's already in it. Every day I see like 10, 15 articles about Texas or Ohio or Michigan or California and, you know, all the lead, mercury, and arsenic and how toxic it is. I mean, that. But you see what's going on and the derivatives and the buildup and the armored vehicles getting delivered locally and Soros trying to cause a civil war. I don't know what the trigger's going to be, and I pray every day that we somehow make it out of this, somehow things don't go to pot, somehow things don't unravel with all these wars and menacing Russia and menacing China and all the stuff that's going on. I hope every moment that I'm wrong, but you know what my gut tells me, and it's never wrong? It says you shouldn't even be here right now. You should be taking whatever little money you got out of the bank. You should be getting more storable foods. You should be getting more vitamins and minerals stockpiled. You should be getting medicine stockpiled. And that's what I'm doing. You should be getting ready for a long-haul depression. And you should be getting a place even further out in the country off some dirt road somewhere. I mean, my gut, that's never been wrong, tells me I'm in deep trouble and I need to get geared up for my family. Now, sometimes you get a big scare and you realize that it was a close call. Your gut was right, but things went okay. I hope that's the case. But yes, if people don't go to InfoWarsStore.com, which has the very best storable foods, the lowest prices out there, and get a 4-week, a 3-month, a 6-month, a year food supply, if you have the funds to do it, I think you're crazy if you don't, because you can eat your investment if, thank God, you don't need it. But they pushed the whole Y2K thing, I now realize, years ago, as a way down the road with real emergencies they had planned to discredit prepping. But prepping's hotter than ever because people instinctively see how unsustainable this civilization is. Clean, pure drinking water. You can't survive without it. But where do you get it? Alexa Pure Pro is a brand new, groundbreaking, gravity-fed water filtration system that is like no other. The Alexa Pure Pro transforms water from virtually any fresh source into clean, healthy drinking water, pairing the unprecedented superfiltration power of an all-new gravity block core with a hybrid chromatic shell. It removes up to 99.999% of impurities, including bacteria, viruses, fluoride, disinfectants, volatile organic contaminants, and hormones. Filter capacity up to 5,000 gallons. Stainless steel construction. Easy assembly. Low maintenance. Replacement filters are simple to install. And now, as part of an exclusive limited time introductory offer, you can save $20 off the retail price and get free shipping. This is a limited time offer, so order your unit today and receive free shipping and $20 off. Go to InfoWarsStore.com or call 888-253-3139.